On this episode of Seahawk Central News.
Updates on devastating Hurricane Irma. The storm that was once a Category 5 is now slowly losing speed as it makes landfall over the south. We track its path as well as discuss the precautions UNCW has taken to keep their students safe.
And later, labor activist and author Les Leopold comes to campus to discuss his new book, Runaway Inequality. We sit down with a UNCW sociology professor to tell us a little more about the event, discussing Leopold's Guide to Economic Justice. I'm McKenzie Rakin.
And I'm Patrick Cogan. Sit down and stay tuned,
because Seahawk Central News starts right now. Hurricane Irma hit the Caribbean islands as a Category 5, with peak wind speeds clocking in at 185 miles per hour. Irma then made its way up from Cuba and hit the Florida Keys on Sunday, September 10th. The storm's category had lowered to a Cat 3, but still had wind speeds reaching 130 miles per hour. According to CNN and the Florida Division of Emergency Management, 6.3 million Floridians were said to have evacuated before the hurricane made landfall.
And although Irma took more of a westerly path than previously expected, UNCW took many precautionary measures to ensure the safety of their students. Multiple emails were sent out by UNCW's Hour to keep students updated on the progress of the hurricane. On Sunday night, Hour sent a message warning students of wind, rain, and rip current hazards, which seemed to be the extent of the storm's forecasted effects.
A Wilmington church hopes to be part of the solution in the ongoing opioid epidemic. Recently, a service was held at the Brookfield Church of God to raise awareness about addiction and honor those who have died from overdose. A mother named Ruth Decker organized this service in honor of her son Wayne, who overdosed last year. Decker shared her son's story, saying that he battled addiction for years. Pastor Doug Perry reached out and mentioned the passing of 2 young church members to overdose, and that the opioid epidemic has touched many people's lives. Decker hopes in the future to start a foundation in honor of Wayne's memory, and also to one day open a treatment facility so that many more people can get the help that they really need.
The Intramural Fields are finally taking shape again after being blocked off for months here on campus. Director of Campus Recreation Tim McNeely commented, saying, quote, "The hybrid AstroTurf has an organic infield. Basically, it is ground up coconut husk and ground up cork. It's very sustainable and much cooler. It's a win-win all the way around." The project brought the Board of Trustees to a total of $4.2 million. McNeely stated that the money came from remaining receipt funds from the Student Recreation Center expansion. The money was originally supposed to go towards renovating the gazebo fields, but is being put on hold for now.
With Amazon's recent purchase of Whole Foods, grocery shoppers have noticed a drop in prices. Here is Bria Perry to discuss in detail the effects of the merger on this week's segment of Teal Talks Money.
Thank you, McKenzie. If you have not already heard, Amazon has purchased Whole Foods for $13.7 billion as of August 24th of this year. Executives of the online resale giant have discussed this being a huge move for them as they look far into their future. Amazon has officially taken the grocery market by storm. Now it presents significant competition to grocery giants like Walmart and Kroger with this big new merger. Amazon now has the opportunity to offer a much wider range of products than what was originally available with the Amazon Prime Now service. Since the purchase was finalized, Amazon has successfully decreased prices on certain Whole Foods products by as much as 14%. Seems like Amazon is making good on promises made when this was just all a talking game. Back to you, Patrick.
Thank you, Bria. Labor activist and author Les Leopold is scheduled to appear on campus September 20th to discuss his new book, Runaway Inequality, an activist guide to economic justice. The event, What Happened to the American Dream, will dissect and discuss the increase in labor wage gap, as well as other economic injustices that are examined in his book. The lecture will take place in room 114 in Deloach Hall, beginning at 5:30 p.m., again on September 20th. We caught up with Associate Professor of Sociology Daniel Buffington to tell us a little more about the event.
So on Wednesday, September 20th, we've got a person by the name of Les Leopold who's coming to the university campus to deliver a presentation called What Happened to the American Dream, a discussion with Les Leopold about runaway inequality. Les Leopold is a labor activist who has been involved in researching inequality for a number of years. In his latest book, Runaway Inequality, describes what has been happening to the American economy since roughly the mid-1970s. Since that point, we've seen a tremendous amount of increase in income and wealth inequality. And he not only describes that, but then connects it back to many of the other social problems that are going on right now.
Tune in to next week's episode for coverage of the event to help spread awareness of this activist guide to economic justice. Follow, like, and subscribe to UNCW TealTV for all your need to know UNCW news updates. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Seahawk Central News. I'm McKenzie Rakin.
And I'm Patrick Cogan. We'll see you next week.